Welcome to the SmarkCast. Another episode. This one's going to be a little special. It's going to be a two-parter. This week will be part 1. Next week will be part 2. It's going to be kind of like a Wrestlemania special. Part 1 this week will be analyzing the card so far, which is pretty much completed. And then next week will be the predictions. Everyone's favorite, the predictions. But for now, this is SmarkCast brought to you by Wrestling Heads. And before we get started, I'm not really going to go over Raw. I'm just going to say that I will admit, just like most people, that this does not feel like WrestleMania season. The build-up hasn't been that great, but after Raw last night, it's actually gotten a lot better. I can actually say that I'm excited for a lot of the matches, and if that makes me a mark, call me a mark. I don't care. I'd rather be a mark and be excited about WrestleMania than just complain every week. And the ones that didn't like Raw last week are usually the ones that are just complaining every single week. The people who could get Daniel Bryan win a title, the return of CM Punk, an NWO reunion, a DX reunion, 4 or 5-star matches, and have Vince McMahon step down and have Triple H take over, and have 2 NXT matches all in one Raw, and they would still say it sucked. Oh man, it's just the camera angles were all wrong. Oh, they played the music a little too early. Lillian Garcia botched a little bit. Those people, the ones that just find things to complain about. So that is not how I do things anymore. The SmarkCast changed a little bit over the past few months, and I like to be positive. So that's what I'm doing. And lastly, before we get started on this WrestleMania special, I had 2 questions. One of them is just so shocking that I had to answer it because it actually threw me off. First was a really kind of cool question. I guess I could answer it from Sean. He asked me. He said I don't number my SmarkCast episodes. So how many have I done? By keeping count, it would all depend on what version of the SmarkCast you mean. The SmarkCast, the video version, there hasn't been many. There's been maybe 20. But if you count all SmarkCast, because I started off on SoundCloud and I was just a small podcast, and then I jumped up to iTunes, and then I came to YouTube, and then I went to this YouTube video. So if you encompass all of that, every single episode, this right here is episode 63, I think. I've been doing this for well over a year now, and I am also counting the bonus SmarkCasts that were done in my car and were only about 5 minutes long. And lastly, I'm not even going to get the name of the person who asked this, but it shocked me so much that it actually made me laugh. Basically, the email said, "You aren't standing up anymore, you're sitting at your desk doing your SmarkCast now. Are you wearing pants under the desk?" I'm pretty sure it wasn't a real question. But yes, I'm wearing pants under the freaking desk, man. I'm not one to just go around nude. So yeah. Anyway, shocking little question. I actually dug it though because it made me laugh, and the questions don't usually make me laugh. So anyway, we get to WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the big thing, huge. There are 8 official matches. Personally, I think that is perfect. They need to keep it there because that is just absolutely the perfect amount for WrestleMania. If you do the math, that leaves 30 minutes per match. That's 30 minutes. Each match can go 30 minutes. However, you got to take into account that Undertaker's entrance is going to be about 10 minutes. Bray Wyatt's probably going to get a special entrance. Triple H, Sting, all those are going to get special entrances. And not all the matches are going to go 30 minutes. The Divas match is probably going to go around 10. So that saves 20 minutes right there for the 10-minute entrances of Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. So I think it's perfect. 8 matches, awesome. And then they haven't announced anything for the pre-show, but I am assuming and thinking that they will do 2 matches, since it's 2 hours. You got to do 2 matches. I'm assuming one of them will be the tag team title match. Now I'm going to start analyzing now. The tag team title match, the reason people are saying, well, they're just not building this up enough, it's not really about that. It's the reason they haven't really built this is because I'm assuming the original plan was a little multi-man match again, which is one of the few things I have complaints about this WrestleMania. Way too many multi-man matches. But I'm looking at it, and it looks like it was going to be Brass Ring versus Usos versus Los Matadores versus New Day. And with the injury of Jimmy or Jey Uso, I don't remember which one of the twins, the Usos look to be out of WrestleMania. I don't know if he'll be better in time. There's a chance. If not, it'll probably just be New Day, Los Matadores, and Brass Ring, which I'm okay with, because everyone for months has been saying, no, it's going to be the Ascension. The Ascension's going to go in there. And I've been saying for months, keep the Ascension far away from the tag team titles, and it looks like that's what they're doing. Thank God, because people who know me, people who watch the SmarkCast, know that I have never been impressed by the Ascension, not once, not even in NXT. They just never impressed me. And then when they come to the main roster, they're getting outworked by dudes who are in their late 30s, early 40s, or mid 40s even, in Road Dogg's case. They're getting outworked by veterans, old guys, like guys that are up there in age. And that's not a good look. But they haven't been on TV in a long, long time. So it looks, hopefully they have been written off and are being repackaged, because they were just terrible. I would even be okay with them splitting up the Ascension and making them singles wrestlers, because to me it was just the most boring, awful thing. They just weren't very good, and so hopefully they won't be added. There's a chance that next week they could be added to the match. I really hope not, but it can happen. So looks like that's what's going on. And then for the second match at the pre-show, I really don't know what they can add, because there's really no other feud to add. But I would think you should do something for the fans, and what a lot of fans want right now is a feud that's going on Twitter, which is Zack Ryder versus Adam Rose. I would be okay with that. Personally, I'm one of the few that never really jumped on the Zack Ryder bandwagon. He's never really impressed me. His in-ring style is not that great, and to me, you need a little bit more than a YouTube show to impress me. I get that. I do respect the fact that he won these fans over by himself without the help of WWE. That was cool, but you need a little bit more than that. Adam Rose, I loved his Leo Kruger, but not a big fan of Adam Rose. So the fans want it, give it to them. That's great. Me personally, I'm not into it. So those two matches look like they would be a good pre-show match. As for the main card, 8 matches. Let me get a pencil, because I'm going to double this up here if I'm not careful. Starting off, I'm going to kind of do it in the order that I actually give a crap, except for the final match. You got to do the main event final. The Battle Royal, probably the least interested I am in a match right now. It's worthless. I said it was worthless last year before WrestleMania, because when they announced, oh, the winner gets a trophy, it's like, ooh, a trophy, yay, and it's an ugly trophy. I mean, I get that Andre's on it, and that's cool, but other than that, it's an ugly trophy. If they were like, oh yeah, the winner gets an Intercontinental title match, or a title match of their choosing, something like that, that would be cool. But to win a Royal Rumble and not get anything, a Battle Royal, sorry, to win a Battle Royal and not get anything, I think is kind of worthless. To me, they could have cut this out and replaced it with a Money in the Bank match, but I'll get to that later. Battle Royal, not a big fan of it. I'll give you my prediction. I already think I know who's going to win it. I'll give you my prediction next week. Sorry, people who are wanting predictions. Next, another match that I actually do care about, but I'm not that invested in it. The Bellas versus Paige and AJ. The reason why I'm excited for it is because if you look at the past Raws and SmackDown, stuff like that, the Give Divas a Chance movement is actually working. Last night, AJ and Nikki got an 11-minute match. Fantastic. And it was actually decent. I mean, they actually worked. The crowd wasn't into it for a lot of it, but then it was almost like they were like, dude, we asked for this. Let's start cheering. And, you know, they did it. And it was, at the end of it, turned into a great match. So, Paige and AJ, the Bellas, the only thing I have a problem with here is it's not for the title. And if they pull a little swerve on us next week and say, oh, the title will be on the line, whoever gets the pin or the submission gets the title. That, to me, would be silly, because why would you do that and not just have a Fatal 4-Way? Because that's what it's going to essentially boil down to. So, it looks like it's just going to be the Evil Bellas versus the Heroes, Paige and AJ. I'm actually looking forward to it, because Paige and AJ on a team sound pretty cool. After that, a match that I wasn't excited for until last night, Rusev and Cena. I mean, I was excited for it. I can't say that I wasn't excited for it, because I've been singing the praises of Rusev for a really long time. And I've never truly had a problem with Cena. I personally think dude can work. Rusev too. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think the segment last night on Raw was a little ruined by whoever the heck that dude was that did that horrible Russian accent. It was awful. Even the commentators were ripping into him. It just wasn't a good segment. The whole thing was just botchamania. But then they gave Rusev the mic, and Rusev kind of killed it. I mean, he was trashing America. And one thing that I wonder if WWE understands is that Americans are the only ones who think Rusev is a bad guy. Everyone else in the world is like, what is he doing that makes him the heel? You know, and I kind of see it that way. But he trashes America, gets out there, you get the USA chants going. It really wasn't, it was that kind of started building it up. It was the stare down. Whenever he signed the contract, whenever he was about to sign the contract, and he just stared at Cena, it just had a big fight feel to it, and it was really neat the way it felt. It was like, oh, this actually might be really good. And then he slammed it, tipped the table over, and ran. Perfect heel. I think Rusev is one of the top heels right now. He is fantastic at what he does. I mean, he's not where Rollins is, but he's there. He's a great international heel, and I love it. And I am looking forward to that match. The next one, another one that I was kind of on the fence about Sting coming back in wrestling, and then about roughly 8-9 months ago, I said, however, if Sting comes back to face Triple H, I would be in, as long as he's not facing The Undertaker. And they went with Triple H, which I think is brilliant, because Triple H, even if Sting, and I'll get to my point about Sting here in a minute, even if Sting comes in there and can't move because he's kind of old, or can't wrestle, he's lost his steps, got a lot of ring rust, Triple H can carry him. And Triple H can carry him to a 5-star match easy, because Triple H is one of the best ring generals in the WWE. Now, point of Sting, though, last night, when Sting took off that jacket after beating the hell out of people with a bat, when Sting took off the jacket, the guy looks to have lost roughly 30 to 40 pounds. He's looking good. He was moving around real good. He had it. The crowd was pumping him up, and then afterwards he had an interview, which he's still screaming a lot, but still, you know, he had the crowd, and it's a lot of energy. So I believe that Triple H is not going to need to carry this as much. I think Sting will be able to carry his own. And I'm actually excited for the match now. Just, if anything, it's going to be a lot like The Rock and Hogan. The Rock and Hogan itself, though, was a terrible match. It was horrible. Boring, bad moves, all that. But it's gone down as one of the best matches ever, because the crowd was into it, and the crowd was cheering every move. And that's what we're going to get with Sting and Triple H. The atmosphere and the pageantry alone will make this match good. But personally, I think the match itself will be good. Sting versus Triple H will be awesome. It's going to be a sleeper. People were kind of like, oh, 2 old guys. And I'm like, no, this is going to be good. And speaking of sleepers, it brings me to the next match, which I'm highly excited about. I'm getting more and more excited as I go along. Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. This one is about the promos and about the pageantry and about, just everything else. Just the atmosphere. But personally, I think Bray Wyatt can carry Taker. And I said last year at WrestleMania on the SmarkCast, I said Brock Lesnar and Taker cannot do a good match anymore because Brock Lesnar is very stiff. He's very, very stiff, and he's got a new style. Back in the Ruthless Aggression era, he was a wrestler. He was a professional wrestler. He could actually do moves. He wasn't that stiff. He was still a little stiff, but he did a lot of flashy things. Now it's just punches, kicks, suplexes, F5, game over. So him and Taker can't do it because Taker needs someone who's technically sound to have a fantastic match, i.e. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, CM Punk, Edge, stuff like that. He needs his classic matches were with people who are technically sound. And I know people don't see it, but Bray is actually very technically sound. It's just the character he plays is very powerful. So I think that this match could be good. I think it's going to be a sleeper that people are not really going to put a whole lot of stock in. Not to mention the Brock Lesnar-Taker match. Taker got a concussion very early in that match, so it made the match go slow. And if he's 100%, I think this could be awesome. And I really hope that Taker does not show up until Mania. And kudos to Bray Wyatt, man. Kudos to Bray Wyatt for carrying this feud by himself. Like, the Taker has nothing to do with this. This is all Bray Wyatt. He's been doing the promos. Last week on Raw, you did have the excellent lightning hitting the chair and all that, and that was a little bit of WWE production. But Bray Wyatt has pretty much carried this by himself, and people want this match because of Bray Wyatt. It's awesome. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And then the match that I am pretty much second most looking forward to was just made last night. Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. I have been screaming for this match for 2 months. I think it's probably been longer, 3 months. Saying, please give us this match at WrestleMania. Don't give it to us at anywhere before WrestleMania. Give it to us at WrestleMania. Make it a one-off match. We don't need a rematch. Just give us this. And we're getting it. I'll give my predictions on it next week, but it's just Orton has been one of my top favorites my entire life of that he's been here. Like, since the Ruthless Aggression era, before that, when he was in there just wearing the blue trunks and he had a lot less tattoos, he's been one of my favorites. But even though that he has been one of my favorites, I will admit that he's been stale. His character has just been stale. But since coming back, he's done this thing where he was always in top form when he was the psychotic heel that would do anything to win. And he's done this thing now where he's taken that personality and put it into a face persona, which I don't really consider him a face. I kind of consider him a tweener. But he is just psychotic, and it's great. It's back to the rated RKO days. Back to the days when he was torturing Triple H and by handcuffing him to the ropes and then kissing Stephanie. It was just, the things he's doing is beautiful. His beatdown of Seth Rollins was awesome. And that's not even to take away what Seth Rollins has done. Seth Rollins, bottom line, is the best heel right now. He is perfect in every way. His promos are on point. His matches are on point. He is just proving that it's not just a moniker, that he is the undisputed future of the WWE. No, he is the damn future of the WWE. That's period. He is what we are all going to be seeing later. And I've been saying since he's been in the Shield that dude reminds me so much of Shawn Michaels that it's ridiculous. And I think he could possibly be the next Shawn Michaels. Will he? I don't know. But the potential's there. So, as you can see, I'm pumped up for that match. But the match that I am absolutely the most excited about is the IC title ladder match. This has been an amazing story. I know there's been a lot of people that have been turned off by this whole, oh, he's still in the belt thing. Oh, it's the hardcore title all over again. And it's not the hardcore title. The hardcore title was impromptu matches. There was no stilitization. Good word. It's not a word, but anyway. There is no stealing of the title in the hardcore title. People would jump out while they were taking a crap and then pin them, and that would be the match that he wouldn't steal the title. He actually won that title. This, they're just stealing it, and Wade Barrett is still champion. And here's the thing that I get out of it, and I don't know if I'm just off base here or people just aren't seeing it. I see it as this title is coveted by all these men, and all of them want this title so bad that they are willing to steal the title and keep it for themselves. And they, this is mine. You know, that's awesome. I think it's bringing some prestige to the title. And then the match itself is going to be stellar because every single guy in this match is amazing. I mean, I think that the one with the least amount of talent in this entire match is Luke Harper, and that's saying something because dude is talented. So, and a lot of people are a little upset that Daniel Bryan is in this match, saying, oh, you know, he deserves better, stuff like that. And I'm thinking, like, if he actually won that Intercontinental title, that would bring so much legitimacy to that title. But I digress. As a preview for next week, I will say that I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to win it. I'm very excited for that match. I'm extremely excited. I love every guy in that match. Wade Barrett, Stardust, Daniel Bryan, Ziggler, Ambrose, Luke Harper. I'm even digging what R-Truth is doing. So I'm very excited for this match. Looking forward to it. Now, going back down to where I'm not as excited. In fact, this is probably the match that I'm 6th most excited about. I mean, I think I'm more excited for Rusev and Cena than this, but the heavyweight title, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Another kudos goes out to Paul Heyman because he has been single-handedly carrying this feud. Roman Reigns really hasn't done much. I mean, he's been making promos and trying his damnedest, but it's not working. I think that's mostly because the crowd just refuses to get behind him. No big deal. This is another match. Oh, and Brock, of course. Brock hasn't really been there. And last night, I guess I was in the minority because Twitter exploded about how good the package was. But personally, I did not find the Brock Lesnar package to be that great. It had nothing to do with Brock Lesnar. People know me. You watch the show. You know I'm a fan of Brock Lesnar. People know that I respect Brock Lesnar. But that package did nothing for me but be redundant. Because name me one thing that he said that he hasn't said a million times before. I don't care. I don't respect people. I'm going to kick people's asses. I'm going to get paid to kick people's asses. I'm a monster. I'm a beast. He said the same thing he's been saying for months. Actually, for long. Since he was feuding with Cena. There's really nothing new coming out of that. So I got nothing from it. I mean, that's me. I have weird opinions sometimes, but that's not to say this is another one I think people are sleeping on. A lot of people are saying there's no way this match can be good. I think you're wrong. I think Reigns and Lesnar can pull off a good match. A lot of people are comparing this to Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. I beg to differ because this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I find Roman Reigns to be far better than Goldberg. People who know me also know that I don't like Goldberg. I've never found him to be impressive. Yeah, he can spear people and he can jackhammer people, yay, but you get him in a match that's longer than 5 minutes and he gasses and it becomes boring. Case in point, when he went to WWE, he didn't have one good match. Even against The Rock, the match wasn't that great. But Reigns can actually pull off a great match. He's had several good matches with Seth Rollins, several good matches with Daniel Bryan, or one good match with Daniel Bryan, and Well, unless you count the tag teams, those are good. And another thing that people don't realize is that Brock Lesnar, while lately he hasn't been since his return, but back in the day, man, he was a ring general. He could actually carry matches. He was good at it. But can he do it now? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out in 2 weeks. I'm actually looking forward to the match. I don't have, like I said, I don't have a problem with Brock Lesnar. I don't have a problem with Roman Reigns. Would I rather seen a different match? Yeah, probably. But this is what we have to deal with. And people comparing it to Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, saying, "Oh well, Brock Lesnar is going to be leaving after WrestleMania." That's not exactly solid. The fact that he mentioned contracts, like as for my contract in the WWE, the fact that he mentioned it in that video package is a sign that he's probably going to sign. He's going to sign back with the WWE. To me, I think he would be stupid to go to the UFC because I don't think he can beat anyone in the top 10 in the UFC. That's for another time. I'm a big UFC fan, and I can go on and on about why it would be a bad idea for Brock Lesnar to come in, and I've got 10 reasons for it. Number one being Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez would tool him, just like he did back in 2007, I think. But all that. I think this could be a good match. I'll give my predictions on it. Pretty much that one's deadlocked. There's no way it can end any other way than what it's going to end. So that is the whole rundown of the show. All 8 matches and the 2 matches I think they'll add for the pre-show. WrestleMania is 4 hours this year, just like it was last year. The pre-show is 2 hours this year, just like it was last year. That is 6 hours of WrestleMania, just like last year. And just like last year, on Saturday, they're going to show the Hall of Fame ceremony and the red carpet Hall of Fame ceremony, and then they're going to do the WrestleMania, the WrestleMania lead-up that does the All Access. So it's going to be interesting. This is about the time my WWE Network has lapsed. I actually changed credit cards and didn't change it, and then it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I've actually had the network, and now's the time where I will renew my my membership just so I can catch all the cool WrestleMania stuff leading up to WrestleMania. It's the way I do it every year. I love WrestleMania. I mean, I do love NJPW and Ring of Honor, but WrestleMania is kind of like, it really is like the Super Bowl. It's really cool. Are the matches going to be great? Maybe, maybe not. But the pageantry and all that, and I'm a big fan of the Hall of Fame ceremony. I love seeing these guys give their speeches. And I think next week they'll probably announce Diesel. That Diesel will be in there. And for someone else did ask me, what do I think of this this year's Hall of Fame class? I will say that it's not as strong as last year's, because it really isn't. But it's still pretty strong, not to mention my favorite wrestler of all time, Macho Man Randy Savage, is going in. And that is 100%. I have no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is unequivocally my favorite of all time, period. And I have an ever-changing top 5 and top 10. Like, it changes a lot. It's just, there's just, like, Shawn Michaels and Jericho are always on it, but it changes a lot. And CM Punk is usually on it, but I've been taking him off of it recently since he's with UFC now. So, anyway, it's running on 30 minutes. This is probably the longest SmarkCast in a long time. Hopefully next year, or next week, I can give you some more time to do some predictions, because I'll do some more analysis as well. But until that time, you can get me on Twitter at SmarkCast. You can email me some questions. Sorry I haven't been getting to a lot of those questions recently. It's just been a kind of a busy time, and I've been sick. So I think you can do that at smarkcast@gmail.com. Yeah. All right. As for that, thank you for watching the SmarkCast.